We just watched season 2, episode 10 of Gilmore Girls. We have so much to say. This is one of people's favorite episodes. I shouldn't have said that because Carrie's first time listening, watching, and I want to know what she has to say. First of all, my name's Chemda.
I'm Carrie.
We're Gilmore Friends. And today's episode is called The Bracebridge Dinner. So sit on that for a minute while I ask you. First of all, I thank you for listening, and we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening from. And we'd love for you to tell us your alternative titles because we're telling you ours now. Okay, do you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, and that wouldn't have told me anything. That would not have been a spoiler for the episode.
Right, because what does that even mean? I mean, and then the whole episode is about that, so it's like,
right.
Okay.
But that wouldn't have indicated what that meant at all.
Right.
I called it Slumber Party at the Inn or Two-Horse Open Sleigh.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
I like yours. I didn't even think of those. Okay.
What was yours?
Mine is Cometh Eateth.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
That would not have given anything away either.
That's how good I am at Old English. Okay. Who are the people in your neighborhood, but the in that sentence is spelled with 2 N's?
Oh, very nice. Who are the people in
very nice.
Your neighborhood? I like it. I like it.
I'm having a corny day and I just said corny things, but I like it. I like thinking about the alternatives. It makes me think like, hey, what is this episode actually about? And it really was all about that dinner. First of all, have you ever heard about the Bracebridge Dinner?
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, and I have it in my trivia.
Oh.
So there is a Bracebridge Dinner that happens. This company from Chicago is doing it for their employees or something, or their little, shindig get together. They're doing a copy of it.
Wow. So it's like a medieval times comes to you kind of thing?
Yes.
I hadn't heard of that. I thought this was just their weird company retreat idea.
Right.
I didn't know this was
too.
like a branded thing.
I had to look it up. So
that's wild.
They're
cool.
recreating down to the menu and everything.
Oh my God. Oh, we have to do one. I've never been to medieval times.
Well, I will tell you a little more info during the trivia about what I learned about this. Yeah, completely. But yeah, that is what this whole thing is about. It starts with building snowmen, though. It wants to tell us, I think, that it's winter break is coming. I loved Lorelai and Rory's snowman.
Yes.
Snow woman.
That's right.
Her hands were like, in a certain way placed, and they put a wig on her, and I don't know, it was lovely.
I had feelings about putting a wig on a snowman. I liked their snowman. I thought it was great. Once they put the wig on, I was like, oh no, I don't know if that should be allowed. It's
doing too much.
Yeah.
It's sort of breaking the rules where everything should be made of snow.
Yes, kind of. I mean, in a classic, exactly. In a classic snowman, there's features that are not completely made of snow. But I don't know. Somehow the wig made me think it was a little too much.
See, I feel like I've had that thought, but then I had to go like, then who broke the original rule with the carrot
and the top hat? Right. Why is a wig different than a top hat? Am I sexist? Yeah.
Well, then there's always like, what are the rules of this particular snow competition? Because they're having a snowman competition. And I imagine you get points off by using other things other than snow. I wonder if that guy who was doing the professional version, which it was a professional version of a snowman, does he get points off by using power tools like a buffer?
Right. Exactly. Or getting there early to like pour water on it so it freezes in a different way.
Yeah, like how long have these people been on it? Because that takes a long time to get where everybody got to.
And where did everybody, and like they have to be how many feet apart so that you even have enough snow? I thought everyone's submission was good.
Yeah.
I like the classic snowman of the 2 or 3 circles of decreasing size as they go up and little stick arms. And, I want the classic, but that's me. I don't know. I once built a snow cat. We gave it ears and paws, and it was really cute. And then
isn't that fun? So why do you want to take the fun away from other people?
I don't. I'm rethinking what I just said. I take it back. Make a snow cat. It's more fun.
See
Some mean teenagers knocked it over and I lost my mind.
Did you actually lose your mind to them?
Yeah, I had no recourse because they were laughing because it was really funny. But we spent all day making this thing. It was like a group of us.
What, they hid it in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
And then tell the whole thing.
And then they knocked it over. It was on a lake, like a frozen lake. And we went out. I was with a bunch of friends. Oh, I was an adult. I was in my 20s.
Okay.
And we spent all day making a snowcat. And then we saw a guy ice fishing. So we walked over to talk to him about ice fishing because I don't see that a lot. And that was cool. And he was chatting with us. So we weren't that far from our snowcat, but we were like, I don't know, far enough. And then the teenagers ran by and knocked over the kitty and then laughed hysterically and like ran off. And I was like, how dare you come back? Like I was going to fight them. It didn't make any sense. I was so mad because our day had been so wholesome and fun up till then. And like, then they laughed and I was like, come down here. Cause they got on the back of a truck.
You said yelling. Come down here to do what?
What was I going to do? And my boyfriend at the time was like, stop yelling at the teen. Like you're no match. Mm-hmm. And I got very, very upset because I don't know. I thought we didn't even get to take pictures of it.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. And maybe the ice fishing guy was in on it. No, he wasn't. He's like,
he was the distraction.
Yeah. He's like, I'll distract him and you knock over their creation. But anyway, that was the last thing I built out of snow because I was so upset and damaged.
Wow. Oh, I hate when I'm so mad, but it's like being mad is just going to make me more mad. Like the expression of it will only put me in a smaller hole.
Me being mad was the entertainment for them.
Yeah.
I think that's what pissed me off more and more because the madder I got, the harder they laughed. And I just couldn't pull myself out of it. You know,
that like sucks.
And I was like, you're giving them what they want, but that's just making me madder. Oh, it's terrible. Teenagers are the worst. Don't be a mean teenager.
Yeah. Everyone's the worst. Teenagers are just the worst in their own special little glorious way.
Yeah. They grow out of it ideally, hopefully.
And then they turn into other mean monsters in different ways with like more power. So I don't, I think that we all have like, there's teenage life, there's your 20s, there's your 30s, there's this version, there's the marriage, there's the divorce. And every time we go through something, we have to still be like the nice version of ourselves. And
it's not easy.
I don't know that teenagers always grow out of.
I hope so. I mean, I would like to think you do, but Yeah. All right, but anyway,
okay.
we're at the inn and they are holding auditions. Quick question: didn't we have a harp player?
We did, Drella,
and
but maybe she's on tour because they are auditioning other people. These are the most ridiculous auditions I've ever seen.
Yep,
where they just. Lorelai walks into the the library version, the library at the end, or the
it's like a lounge, right?
Yeah. And she goes, "Okay, go." And the flute players just play, and she goes, "Okay, heard enough. You're hired.
Yeah,
Next."
You're in." I'm like, what happened to the other recorder players? Like, were they? First of all, they came as a duo. Okay, or there anyone else showed up to this audition?
Also, what is this audition? Oh, you do know how to play the flute. Okay, bye.
Yeah. It was a recorder. It wasn't even a flute. That's the thing they give like little kids to teach them a quote unquote instrument. And like this, I don't know, father and grandfather duo or like, I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah. And they told Jackson he's going to play the Squire Bracebridge.
Yes.
And I mean, spoiler, it turns out he was so good in that role.
Yes. It was the role he was born to play. He was excited. Yeah.
I wonder if as an actor, he was like, yes, like for all of these people, because they got to play characters on top of their characters.
Right.
That sounds so fun.
It does sound fun.
The wig fit him perfectly. They were right. The outfit fit him perfectly. And I think they just needed an excuse to have us, like Jackson was going to play the part because whoever was hired, they know that he can play this part.
Yeah. It wasn't going to be Luke. It wasn't going to be Michelle.
Right.
Like, who else was going to, it couldn't be Rune. Rune came back this episode. to like be insane, be more, I mean, weirdly less insane now that he's insane. They could have gotten Kirk to play the squire.
That's true.
Kirk would have been a great squire. But between Kirk and Jackson, it's got to be Jackson.
He played it so well. I mean, I can't see anybody else play that role. I love that they got to play other characters. And so they're recreating what is an authentic 19th century meal. I think it's before the 19th century, but we'll just say 19th century. It sounds like it's older.
I mean, as Paris points out later, there's anachronisms all over. It doesn't really matter. Like, I've been to a Renaissance fair, and I'm like, actually, they didn't have blah, blah, blah in the 1600s. The Renaissance.
You didn't.
No, I didn't. I won't do that because why are there aliens?
You're not Paris, because that's what it feels like when you're
Paris. You're killing the fun. Also, why are there aliens here? Why are there women dressed up like butterflies here? Like, it's really not the point, you know?
Some imagination needs to be used when you're going to the theater.
Some forgiveness of like, we didn't use credit cards in the Renaissance either. Right. And that's allowed here, you know, come on.
And you all showed up in cars and there's just, I mean, especially on such a small recreation of something, this small theater, I guess, you have to let go of some stuff.
Just relax.
Yeah.
Relax yourself, Paris. I don't know.
Yeah. And so these people who are recreating this, they have Lorelai and Suki told us how rich they are, the company, because they said they're flying in on their own jet. They bought out the whole inn and they're recreating this thing. So they bought this great adventure for their team or their company, or maybe just for the, you know, heads of the departments. We don't even know, but they're very, very, very rich.
I love it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it is winter break. It's about to happen. And that means Christmas and all that stuff. And Chris calls up to ask Lorelai if Rory can spend some part of that time off with him. And you see Lorelai getting annoyed because that's gonna mean that Rory gets to spend less time with her, or actually she gets to spend less time with Rory.
Right.
Now, I get it, because you just got everything together because you have this apparently perfect woman, and now all of a sudden you're showing up.
Right.
And as the mom of the person that you've been neglecting, I still have to be like, good, pick up wherever you can. Like I'll take this version of finally chiming into your kid's life when she's 16, going to be 17 soon. I could see how it's hard for Lorelai to say, oh, you're joining in the family now? You just want a smooth transition?
It's the last minuteness of it that would annoy me the most. If he had said, first of all, if he had told her he'd moved to Boston to begin with, here's my new number, I'm moving to Boston, I want to see more of Rory, and then prepared her. And, you know, Christmas break is 10 days, 2 weekends. Like, can she come over for 3 of those days and like give you the mental prep? It's the last minute of it that's like, oh, now I get to make demands. Not that he's demanding. And he gives her so many outs. He's like, I get it, blah, blah, blah. So like that made me a little bit more forgiving of him, that he wasn't like, she's my daughter too. Like he didn't do any of that.
Right, yes.
Which would have annoyed me even more. And he acknowledges that it's last minute and she can say no. But the fact that he's asking so late annoyed me also. Like,
and I get that, but funnily enough, that's not what annoyed Lorelai. What annoyed Lorelai is that she doesn't get to be with her daughter for a couple of days. And to that, I understand that we grew up to believe that that's how parents are supposed to feel about you. Like, oh no, not even like a minute without you, not even an hour. But I think that there should be some room for, oh good, I can just be by myself for 3 days.
No, they're codependent, man. They have complete and total enmeshment. They are codependent, and she does not want to spend a day without Rory because she doesn't know who she is without Rory.
Yeah, I really think that we were told that is what love is. That you know, if you wanted to spend time alone, you kind of like feel guilty about it, and feel like you're not being a good parent or a good family member or a good woman or good whatever version of. Yeah. And so I think that kind of sucks. I want to give this character a little grace that is what we were told is love. So she is just emulating that.
Right.
But with the knowledge that we have now, go. Yay!
I know the idea that my mom, like when I went to summer camp, I went for a full month away when I was like a little kid. And I pictured my mother just sitting around missing me all day, just weepy, looking in my bedroom, writing me letters. And like, I got a little older and I realized like mom needs a month off, and that like wrapping my head around that was like devastating to me. I was like, wait a minute, mom likes when I leave town for a month.
Right. Like, wouldn't it be great for parents if they're the ones that were able to leave for a month? Like they go to summer camp.
Yeah.
Because kids would be like, yeah, I'll try making food by myself and be like a semi-adult or something. But no, sending the kids is the closest to camp that you can get.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I get it. My mom's version was you're not going away because she can't watch me. She can't be, she can't protect me if I'm sleeping somewhere else. So I wasn't allowed to go to sleep.
Wow.
She called it sleepover. And I wasn't allowed to go to sleepover college either. So,
wow.
Because I was like, Mom, it's time for me to look for college. She's like, oh no, not sleepover.
Sleepover. My mom couldn't wait to get us out of the house. Like going to community, like staying in the city was not an option. Even if I went to NYU, I'd have to get a dorm somewhere. Like she's like, you are out. And
I get that. And like you said, now that you understand it better, I just think my mom was too worried. She would be there. She wouldn't sit there missing me. I think she could have used a break from us also.
Yes.
There were 3 of us.
Right.
My God, that sounds overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I think like in a true heart, like you could use a break from that, but you wouldn't be able to get a break from the worry that you had. So it's not worth it. So she didn't let me.
Right. If you're just going to sit there and fret. I mean, and I'm sure like then I was a counselor at that same summer camp. And I was like, I can't believe the grownups are letting us take their kids for a month. Like we're like college kids, like how are we going to be trusted to take care of your precious children for a month? Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, we used to be even younger. I know I started babysitting at 11.
Yeah, me too.
And now I'm like, they left an 11-year-old with their most precious things.
I know. I'm like, yeah, you trust your toddler with me at 11? That's it's quite a. Yeah, we did it a little different back then, I guess.
We did, and also I was a little more mature than maybe an 11-year-old now. But they're also going to live till longer. So they have a little bit more time.
Yeah. And we have more resources to call emergencies, at this point.
Right. We have cameras and we could text our kids now. Like this is, you used to send them off to camp and you had like once a week, they had 5 minutes on the phone with you, things like that. So you really didn't know what your kids were up to.
No, we had letters. And I would write mom, we couldn't talk on the phone for the whole month.
Wow.
And I would write her letters exaggerating the drama I was going through.
Oh no.
So like we got caught. Mom saved these letters. They're hysterical now. But I'm like, I almost died last night. She's like, she's reading these, like knowing that I'm a little drama queen kid, but also wondering what actually happened. Because she's like, I would have gotten a call if you really almost died last night. And I'm like, no, we got caught in the rain and we had to run. And I'd be like, this place is killing us. Poor mom.
I try to downplay the stuff like, oh no, totally cool. I'm warm enough. I'm fed enough. I don't want to tell her because then she'll pull me out. But I wasn't allowed to go. So
yeah, I would be like, the other classic was, and she saved this letter too. I have to find it. But my brother got an earring. He got his ear pierced at camp.
Oh.
And man, could I not wait to tattle on him.
You're the worst. You are the worst.
So it's like, dear mom, Fred got an earring with Carrie. Like all in caps and like exclamation marks. So just picture my mom getting this letter, where she's like, oh my God, the drama, these kids. It was great.
My brother got an earring too.
At camp?
Point. No.
Oh.
He didn't go to sleepaway camp either, but I don't know where actually. Maybe he did it himself even, because who's going to do it? Well, back then.
Did your mom freak out, or was she like...
My parents were concerned. They freaked out on me more. On him, they were like, oh no, teenagedom. Like, they got the fear that comes with like, oh no, he's out of control,
Right.
He wasn't out of control. But
no.
I can see how they thought he was out of control. There was some out of control hints from him, like an earring, like longer hair, like stuff like that. But I don't know. He's doing his work and being a person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do two things.
Yeah.
All right. So we're auditioning. The harp player got the job. We find out that the squire is going to be Jackson. It's great. They're talking
there's so much work into this.
Yeah, they're naming mushrooms I'd never heard of. It was great.
I did not get the list of the mushrooms.
Okay.
But I did get the list of the meal, the Bracebridge meal, and it's 7 courses: soup, fish, peacock pie, the baron of beef, the salad, the plum pudding, and the wassail.
Okay.
So, and I looked up some of this stuff. Like, I think a peacock pie might just be like beef of baron of beef might be like roast beef or something. It's all very simple things. Just
I imagine peacock pie is like a chicken pot pie.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Once I looked it up, I was like, oh, that's just regular. It's
right. But they make it funsies.
Yeah. And Lorelai's answer to Chris is, look, it's up to Rory, which I thought was really cool until she expressed it, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But we do have some of the grandparents in this episode, and Richard apparently is being very sensitive. He's not really there at dinner. He's
it's awkward. I wrote awkward dinner at the family. Like, Rory gestures to Lorelai to start talking, which is insane because Lorelai doesn't ever stop talking. So like the fact that she has to be told to talk shows how awkward this dinner must have been.
And I think it reminds me that the patriarch and the matriarch, but more the patriarch, like when the way your higher ups, your parents, your grandparents, the way they feel dictates the feeling of the entire room.
Yeah, you're setting the mood. You're setting the vibe.
Yeah.
And they've set a very awkward something is wrong vibe.
Yeah, and he excuses himself. He has to make some phone calls. He always has to make some phone calls. I guess now it's I got to send emails. I got to post something on social. He always has to do something. And I love like when people wear suits. I don't know if they do this outside of TV or movies, but they like button up their suit when they get up, they unbutton it when they sit, and it's all very done automatically. It's just something that I noticed that people who wear suits have to do, and I never had to really think about that.
No, when you sit, you have to unbutton your suit, or it stretches.
Yeah, I guess
your body's
so.
all different. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So I think we're just there just to show us that, hey, they're not really getting along. They're not really getting anything. And that when we find out that the inn is not going to host these people because they're snowed out.
Yep.
That comes into play. But yeah, so this is your first time. I already know what's happening. This is your first time watching it. What did you think when they said they're snowed out? We don't get to do this.
I thought it was upsetting, but it was setting up that they were going to have a ton of food left over.
Right.
So I thought I didn't realize it would stay at the inn. I thought they were going to like serve everybody at Luke's. I thought they were going to give the food to Luke and have him cook it up because he had the ability to cook. I mean, I guess both the inn and Luke's have a big kitchen.
Right. I mean, the inn was going to make it in that kitchen.
Yeah. So, but I did not see that coming. I felt very bad for them. And I thought going to Luke's to like figure it out, was a good idea. Like, that they were sitting around commiserating. I've had that disappointment where like a big event gets canceled and you're like, well, what do we do with all the blank? We had organized all the stuff and now like we don't have it. So that sucked.
I liked Suki's, oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. That hit me.
Yeah.
What doesn't make me cry though is our Patreon members. We're about halfway through the second season, and your support means everything. If you want to join our Patreon, go to Gilmore Friends on Patreon or go to gilmorefriends.com and you can get all the information there.
Love it. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to our Patreon members. Okay. So at Luke's, they were thinking like, what do we do with all this? Oh, and I have Suki's list. She has 30 pounds of aged beef, trays and trays of trout, mountains of prune tarts.
Okay.
And something pumpkins until my hands turned orange.
Yes, I have aura of pumpkin hands. I like that the progression to let's have a fancy dinner. And then she was like, invite so-and-so, invite so-and-so. I think it's funny that she still wanted to invite Jess, considering how badly the dinner with Jess went the other night. Mm-hmm. You know, a couple of weeks ago when Jess came to dinner, it was so awkward. But I guess she softened on Jess. Maybe Jess is warmed up to her, whatever. So she's like, invite Luke. And then she says, let's invite everyone. That's the
thing. At first, see, I kind of felt a little for Luke for some reason, although it there's no need. But originally Suki was like, oh, Luke, do you want to come and invite Jess? And I feel like you can't invite Luke without Jess. That's ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Right. You can't omit people's children or whoever.
Right. Right.
But then Lorelai's like, yeah, let's invite everyone. Luke's not special.
Right.
It was very much
but you could see the calculation be like, all right, well, that's still only 7 people, you know?
Right.
So like, how do we get rid of 30 pounds of meat? Mm-hmm. You got to invite the whole frickin' town.
And I've done that. I don't know. I used to have these neighbors. One time we had a party for the whole, when I lived on the Lower East Side, we had a party for the whole floor because we were friends with the skaters on the other side, and we were friends with the other woman who was our age, and everyone was like in their 20s. Only one person on the floor was like some family person who stayed behind the door. I don't even know who that was. So we opened up all 3 of our homes. We invited all of our friends.
That sounds so
and the
cool.
Friends can go from one.
That sounds fun.
It was really fun.
That sounds really, really, really fun. It's like a mini block party. It's like a floor party. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That was fun. And then one time, I don't remember if it was me who got extra pizzas from somewhere. Like, you know, sometimes the pizza places in New York, if you go there just in time before they throw out the pizzas for the day, they're like, do you want it? So I got like a couple pies of pizza. So I invited the neighbors over. Now we're having fun. And so, I like the idea of, look, let's not let this go to waste. Let's just
That's true. Out. Like extra food is such a great way to make friends pressure free. Like I remember that from the blackout of 2003 in New York City. Like everyone had extra something that they were trying to get rid of before it went bad. So like it was like an unexpected little block party because people were like, I got to finish this ice cream. Who wants ice cream? I got to finish this vodka. You know, the beer's going to warm up. Let's drink it. So you're right. Extra food is a great way to make friends because you're like, help me eat this pizza. I can't waste it.
It's such a lovely way to get together. I feel like, you know, as kids, you have your parents sort of making dates for you, and here you need excuses. And a lot of people's excuses is, that's why bars and restaurants do well. It's not like we can't pour a drink for ourselves. It's that you're giving us a reason to get together, something to do with our hands.
But it's true. I've invited people over to help me eat things. I'm just realizing now. I'd be like, because I bought, you know, the Costco size thing of broccoli. And I'd be like, everyone's coming over for broccoli tonight. Come over. Bring a main. It's like broccoli soup. That's it. Come over. But like, I've literally done that. I'd be like, do you want to come over and help me eat broccoli? And who's going to say no to that? Come on.
I wouldn't.
That's fun.
I love broccoli. I actually do. I love broccoli so much.
All right. So when you come over for coffee at 10:35.
Coffee and broccoli. We are going to toot our butts off.
It's going to be good. Going to make you some coffee broccoli.
Yeah, just ruin our insides with coffee and broccoli. That's what we're going to call this episode.
Coffee and broccoli.
Okay, so they did. They invited the whole town, which I thought was so fun.
I think that's such a fun idea. And then I'm like, oh, so we're going to see everybody in the same room because we never get to do that. Like that doesn't happen. Even the town hall meetings, we don't get to see Emily and Richard, you know?
Right. And isn't it felt like a season finale a little bit. No?
It did.
Because they included so much, but we're on episode 10. So
yeah, this is the midterm. I don't know. But we go to outside the high school and we see Lane talking to Dean. Mm-hmm. Which I don't, and he's like, are you going to go to that thing? And she's like, I guess so. I don't want my mom to go, but okay.
Yeah. It sucks that she has to go with her mom.
I know.
But then Dean has to go with his little sister.
Yeah.
Everyone is such a nice teenager. Like, you have to do that.
Dean's little sister is terrified of Rory, remember? Because Rory rang the bell and claimed to be a casual Girl Scout. Mm-hmm. Remember? I remember.
Yes. And now I think they've been dating for long enough that now
but we didn't
cool with her.
We didn't see that happen. But yes, we assume that the little sister is now fine with Rory. But the reason we're following Dean and Lane out of school is because Dean immediately fights or breaks up a fight with Jess and some other kid. Mm-hmm. And like the minute I saw fighting, I was like, oh, this is us to establish that Jess is still violent and scrappy, and he almost threw a punch at Dean, but didn't.
Now, when you saw the fight, did you see Jess could have stopped? Like, did you see Jess see that it was Dean? Like, whose side are you on? Because it did look like, hey, you're interrupting a fight. He's in fight mode, but I do think he noticed who he was fighting with when he was fighting with Dean.
I thought he was in fight mode and just swinging with adrenaline, and like fight mode. I saw
originally he was in fight mode, and then you kind of saw him turn into like, oh, I could use that as an excuse to punch this guy in the face. Right.
Yeah. But he would have plausible deniability if someone was like, why did you punch Dean? His answer would have been, I was in fight mode, which is what happened.
The thing is I don't know why Dean would interrupt that fight, let Jess fight, you know, like that's not your friend.
Well, like interrupting a fight is dangerous. Like people, animals, like if you see two dogs fighting, it's really dangerous to break up a fight. And I think the same is true for people. Like,
and I don't know. Like people do tend to stop fights. You know, I've seen a lot of almost fights on the street, but it's very rare that people actually do start it unless it's after 2 a.m, depending on how much drinking.
Right. But even then, there's still like unspoken rules. Like if someone goes down, you don't keep wailing on them.
Yeah, I mean, then you're next leveling something.
Well, that's what I mean. But like in a quote unquote fair fight, you know, once somebody gets knocked out, the fight is over.
But usually no one wants to be the first one because you know you get to be the most trouble. Also, like I think for the most part, people don't want to fight. It hurts.
I don't want to fight. I don't want to lose teeth. Like honestly, I'd probably fight a lot more if I wasn't afraid of losing teeth. Dealing with dentists is terrible, and I don't want to do it.
Amen.
So that means I'm not taking a face punch.
But also, I always think of like, even if I do land a punch, my hand's going to hurt. I like my hand. I need to use it. And no matter what, you're hurt and the adrenaline is pumping and you're doing things that are anti what living a good life is, basically.
Right. No,
you're just stuck in the ew. But I don't know. I guess the nice boy breaks up a fight. The nice boy brings peace.
I guess so, but you're supposed to break up a fight with like a few dudes and be like, stop it, man, it's not worth it. And like hold him down or back, you know? Yeah. But it's just Dean jumps in and he's like, get off him. And then, Jess takes a swing at him, whatever. Dean's the good boy and could probably, and is also a fighter, you know, like could also hold his own in a fight.
Yeah. I mean, even later when Dean was like, yeah, he came after me, you know, he was fighting. And Rory goes, he hit you? He punched you?
And he's like,
he goes, oh, he tried.
He tried to. Like,
of great.
Course. Right.
In all fairness, he's right. His ego is involved, but he is right. He did try. And this little pipsqueak cannot hit him.
Didn't land a punch. Yeah.
He's not.
I wonder how much they had to choreograph that fight. I wonder how many outtakes there are of like, where it doesn't look real enough, or like he actually accidentally makes contact, and like the fight coordinator. I didn't even think of
that. You're right.
I want the behind the scenes for the fight scene. Very exciting.
Yeah. So now they're both going to be there at the dinner, and also Rory wants her grandparents to be there at the dinner because that will. See, because Rory, and it's fair, she's only 16. She thinks that just, they'll get over it if they go to a nice dinner that will distract them. And then, their adult stuff will just change into positivity. And okay, fine. Sure. You get to think that.
Yep.
But
good job, little girl, like coming up with the plan to fix like a broken marriage.
Right.
But okay.
A marriage of 50 years.
Yeah, you just want like a night away at the end. It'll be nice. Whatever. But it's sweet. Like, and you can't really break her gentle spirit yet. So you're like, all right, I'll ask them. But we get Christmas cards where they're making fun of ugly babies, which is something I do on Christmas when I receive Christmas cards as well. Some people have unattractive children. It's just the nature of
It's true. I do think that no matter how ugly your baby is, by the time they're 1 month old, they're a regular, beautiful baby. That's what I think. I think I have seen some ugly babies and I'm like, oh my goodness, people were right. I thought they were just being mean, but that's an ugly baby.
That's not an attractive baby. And like it can, you still don't know if they're going to be an attractive like person at the baby stage. It could go either way.
Yeah, I think the baby is just smushed by arrival, So
yeah, it's not a fair fight to be attractive when you're like that little. You're like, oh no, you barely have, like, your skull is not formed yet.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows what the shape of your face is going to be.
Yeah. Right now it's just, it'll grow into where it needs to be. But sometimes it's unfortunate.
It is. There are some unfortunate looking babies.
I think it's kind of funny. Like, you can't really get upset by it if you have an ugly baby.
Well, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. Be like,
wait a hot minute.
Wait a minute. See if you have an ugly kid. That's, and then an ugly human. Ugh.
Well, you're definitely going to have an ugly adult because most of us are, but whatever.
That's true. But you could have a really cute baby who grows into an uggo. And that's more tragic because you got set up for cuteness and then it just like didn't happen. Terrible. So anyway, they're making fun of these cards. And we see that Rory is indeed familiar with who Sherry is. That Chris and Sherry are already sending out Christmas cards with both of them on there is like crazy.
Well, they live together.
That's how serious their relationship is. I mean, I've lived with partners.
Live together.
We didn't do that when I lived with partners.
But it sounds like Sherry is a person who sends out Christmas cards. So now she's going to send them out with you.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who sends out a Christmas card and you live with someone, you're not including them?
I mean,
that's your life.
I mean, I guess so. I've never done the photo on a Christmas card. So you're right. If I get it together to send a Christmas card, I don't put a photo on it. So it hasn't come up in my life, but you're right. Maybe if I was.
Well, because right now we have Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever. So we're posting pictures. We don't need to really update people because we're updating them on a regular basis.
Right.
But it used to be you're going like, hey, you haven't seen us in a while. Here's what we look like. Here's photos of us from the year. And here's what we did. It seems like Chris, everything he did was Sherry. They moved in with each other. So here's what we look like. And also I feel like it sounds like the Sherrys of the world, it sounds like who she is. The Sherrys of the world send out Christmas cards. Right. They set up a home like this. They do this. There's like a list of things. And this is one of them. So it seems very regular. Yeah. They have a dog. It's the whole thing. It's the perfect situation.
Yeah. So they're nesting. Mm-hmm. And like later in the episode, Lorelai refers to her as your stepmother. Mm-hmm. So like it must be pretty darn serious. So yeah, I guess so. If you were like engaged to be engaged kind of thing, like you might do a Christmas card. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
If you're living with someone, you're pretty serious about them, no?
I don't know. You're just saving on rent.
Hello, New Yorker. But it's so true. Definitely there have been move outs and move-ins because of the end of lease.
Yeah.
Yeah. New York is like that. I don't know if other places have that as much as New York. In big cities.
I mean, Boston might.
Yeah, in big cities. So maybe they do. Okay. So now everyone is coming.
Yes.
And as they come in, they bring in their own personalities, which I enjoyed. Bootsy and Luke being childhood nemesis forever is just the depiction of boys sometimes is just so silly. It's like, shut up. It's okay, you're in your 30s.
Right.
And this is what's happening.
Yep.
But then again, the depiction of women has other problematic. We're going to move along from that, Chemda. Yes.
Okay.
I understand. Okay.
But I like, okay, so Emily and Richard come in and Richard is happy. And rather than just enjoying that her father is now seems more upbeat, she's like, are you off your meds or did you take a different med? I was like, shut up. Just let him be happy. Don't remind him that he shouldn't be happy. What are you doing?
True,
so
but
mean.
But you should know that that's how unhappy you are, and that's how much you affect everybody's mood. That we are scrunching our eyebrows, going, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
You should know.
So, what did you think when you first saw that? What did you think was the secret to Richard's happiness? I was racking my brain. I was
racking my brain.
I was like, did he get a car? You know, like midlife crisis. I thought he was like. I know the show probably wouldn't go in this direction, but I was like, is he having an affair?
Right.
And like the affair makes you happy. And then, or, you know, something financial.
See, I kind of like that she was like, are you off your meds? And that they address it because even Emily says something like, I don't know. He's been like that for a few days now. And I don't know why, but I'm taking the credit. So I think she just is like, oh, things are exactly the way I want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to take a little credit because I did set up his life to be fantastic. So maybe he should be happy.
But also sometimes you go through a moody phase and you come out of it with no rhyme or reason. Sometimes you're unhappy and then you wake up and it passed and you're happy again. And you honestly, truly have no idea why. Mm-hmm. You're just a moody weirdo.
The fact that I relate to you might mean that we're just moody weirdos.
I'm the first to admit I'm a moody weirdo. And like, I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen, I hate to bring this to this place, but have you seen the little videos of, they show a man and a woman and they show a man's moods during the month and a woman's, and it's like, I'm up, I'm down, I'm excited, I'm horny, I'm tired, I'm this. And we're like up and down throughout the month, and men are just one thing.
I don't believe that. I
don't believe that either, but I do believe that I'm up, I'm down, I'm thirsty. I'm like, there are days, you know, depending on my cycle.
Regulating my mood is a lifelong process for me.
Mm-hmm.
I will do this my entire life, trying to regulate my mood. And that is, I think, just how I'm built. Mm-hmm. And like, that's okay. And I'm aware of it. I try to be aware of it. And I think some people are just built more even-keeled.
I know. I don't want to throw it to the men and women situation, although I do believe that male-female hormones can be different. It doesn't mean that we're the only ones who are emotional. It might mean we're the only ones who can, it doesn't matter. But I am like you. I have to regulate my emotions. I have to do exercises to regulate it. I had to stop my emotions from affecting the entire day, good or bad.
Yeah.
So that I can affect it, so that I can be effective, even though I'm feeling so thirsty today, so bloated, so tired, so jazzed, so excited, so devastated. Like, it's so much. You know, in my diaries for years, it was like, I think I'm like too much. I thought people thought I might have like manic depression, which is just bipolar now, which I don't know. And I don't want to be like having the mental illness du jour and just calling myself that, but I've heard that my whole life. And I don't know if it's because I express it or it's because I have more of it than other people.
I think some people are, I don't think you're manic depressed. I don't think you're bipolar, if it helps. But who am I? I don't know nothing.
Right. We're not going to diagnose each other, and I'm not going to diagnose myself.
No, but
I've known people with bipolar, and it is not this.
It is not that. No, exactly. I know people with bipolar, and it is crippling, and it's real, and it's not just being moody,
right?
And it's like having OCD, and you're like, no, you just like being neat. OCD is a real thing, and it's crippling, and
there is a big difference. Like, oh, I do like my things just so over there. It's like, yeah, that's just you liking things neat.
Right.
It is not OCD. OCD is not. I think of this in passing.
Right.
Yeah. So he's not bipolar either, Mr. Richard.
Right, Mr. Gilmore. But whatever it is, I couldn't figure out what it was. I knew that we'd obviously have to get an answer by the end of the episode because someone had noticed. Obviously it's not subtle that he's feeling better. How about that?
Yeah. And then other people came in with their personalities. I like that Maury of Maury and Babette was disappointed because he was the first person and he thinks it ruins his street credit.
It's not cool.
I love that.
I think that's very funny.
And I get it. And there is something to that. And I love that Babette's like, we could be late for dinner if that feels better. And he's like, it kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody comes in like right behind them, of course, because we can't just let it lag. And poor Lane has to come in with her mom. She comes in and says, my wedding night is going to be very interesting. And it makes sense that her mom came with her. She's not going to let her go on a sleepover.
Yeah, why would her mom let her go alone anyway? Of course her mom. And Lane's an only child, right? It's not like she had a sibling.
Correct.
Where's Lane's dad?
Working maybe.
All right. So then mom has to go with you.
Right. And also it's easier for mom to go with you. I don't know. That's how I used to feel.
Suddenly Lorelai grabs everybody, gets everyone's attention, and announces, I had no idea what she was going to announce. I thought it was going to be dinner, frankly. But she announces, we have sleigh rides.
I don't mean to correct your pronouns, but she did not say we, which I noticed and I thought was so cruel. This woman standing next to you is the one that did all the food for this event. She did half of the work that you did, like putting it together.
Did she say I?
Lorelai said, it's so I can throw this great party for all my friends.
Oh my God.
And now I can give my friends all this thing that I did. She only used personal pronouns.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
And she even said that I can give you guys horse-drawn sleighs. Meanwhile, Suki's standing right next to her, facing out into the crowd as well, getting zero credit.
Boo. Lorelai, bad move. Just make it we. It's a group effort. Dang.
So much so. It's such a group effort that you even heard we.
Right.
Because that was the right.
Yes, because the entire hotel had to come together and put on costumes and like learn a whole different speech pattern and learn lines. Yeah, this was a group effort. I heard we. You're right. That is messed up.
She even said my friends, not just I can give this dinner that I prepared or whatever it was. It's my friends, as if, and Suki was the one who first started inviting people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was
That was very lame. You're right.
But yeah.
You're right.
We got to go on sleigh rides. It was 2 at a time. Now you kept saying that Rory's going to go with Jess.
Of course.
In the sleigh ride.
Of course.
And the way and yes, of course. And I totally understood that. And I like that you predict stuff like that. But you predicted that he was going to kind of ask her. Every time you said it while we were watching, you said, hey, can I go with you, Rory? Or I'm going to go with you. He didn't ask.
No.
He just jumped on.
He jumped on.
Because
he didn't give her a choice. Right. No. Yeah. Didn't ask.
And he even said, I could jump out if you want. And Rory says, it doesn't matter to me. Now, the way this happened is Rory was going to go by herself because Dean's with his sister. So Dean has to go on the carriage ride with his sister. And for some reason, Lorelai already went. And so Lorelai went with Luke. So she doesn't have to go by herself. Now, Rory, I thought, was appropriately annoyed with Jess. And she's giving him a little back, right? So doesn't matter to me if you stay or go. Why did you fight Dean? She's bringing all of it up. She said he was trying to help you. Why were you fighting to begin with? And just had like regular answers. And I think it took Rory down. And I think that he even said, what do you and Dean talk about? Because he noticed the snow person looks like Bjork. Mm-hmm. So he thinks he's so cool for knowing Bjork. And he's wondering, does Dean know about Bjork? Do you have to teach him all of this stuff? And this is where Rory does not defend her boyfriend, I don't think, because now we as the audience are to believe that Dean is this undignified, unlearned, like, ape.
Right. Well, that was the way that Uncle or that Richard saw him at first.
Yes.
Was like this undignified ape, like uncultured and like uneducated. And so now Rory's hearing it again, but from Jess the jerk.
Right. But when we first met Dean, he got her references. He was recommending books to her and authors to her.
Yep.
And now he doesn't know Bjork and
right. No, Dean reads that we've like set that up that they like read, they share books back and forth,
But they started using words like battle bots and you know.
but Dean's not going to an Ivy League school, but like whatever.
Neither is Jess.
Neither is Jess. Exactly. Who is he telling, what do you guys even talk about? Lame.
So, and then Rory says, why don't you just go home? It's the winter break. So earlier than that, when Lorelai was talking to Luke, this is the best. Now this has something to do with the Rory thing, but Luke found the secret to parenting. What did you think of his secret?
I thought it was very stupid. Not a good secret. Just lie to your kids lie to your kids to protect their feelings is not the secret of parenting.
He said, visualize the reality you want. And then if necessary, you lie to bring it about.
No, that's not the secret to parenting.
And the way he did that with Jess is, so Jess's mom didn't even want him back for the winter break.
Yeah.
She still needs a break for him. Speaking of break from your kids.
Yep.
So he lied to Jess saying, hey, no, I want you around Stars Hollow. You just moved in. You just got settled. Don't go back. I want you to stay here. And Lorelai said, he knows.
He knows.
He knows that you're lying. And so that's when Jess was revealing to us that he did know.
His mom, he did know. Right. Lorelai was totally correct. His mom didn't. Yeah. So Rory saying, why don't you just go back home must be a stab in his heart because he's like, I would, but my mom doesn't want me there. It's like, that's very painful. I don't know. I felt bad for Jess in that moment that he knew.
I felt bad for him also, but for some reason, I end up feeling more bad for Jess than I do for Tristan. And I find that very interesting. And other people found it very interesting because they're pointing it out in the comments, which I think we can get into a little bit more in our lives. But for now, in our live streams, for now, it's Jess and Tristan have, I know Jess doesn't have the money that Tristan has, but they both have the neglectful parents who are sending them away. And they're both reacting by being little bad boys, So why do I feel more for Jess?
I think it might be the money thing because Tristan is very entitled and could have anything he wants. And he acts like he owns people. And I think
but what's the difference? Jess is punching people. That's acting like you're...
But he's not acting like everyone should do what he says all the time. He's just acting defiant. And they're illustrating that defiance with fighting. I think it's the entitlement thing that like Tristan is very entitled and Jess is not.
They're both jerks though. So
they're definitely both jerks.
And they're both the same version of a jerk.
But I think that's why you have empathy for one and not the other, because one is like more, you can tell how he's damaged.
Well, I know you're not allowed to look at the comments that we get on the episodes, but I will read you some of the ones during our live streams responding to this so that we can get into it like a little bit more. But yeah, we do feel bad for Jess at this moment. even though I didn't feel bad for Tristan at the moment that he was saying his father was sending him
We didn't
off.
see his journey.
Okay.
I never saw Tristan not be a jerk. I saw glimmers of it as he said goodbye, but like we didn't have the episode where like he figures out what love is.
We didn't see Jess figure it out.
I know.
So, all right.
But like the fact that Luke tolerates him is an enormous bonus for us, the viewer.
Luke tolerates him because he's family, and you have
exactly.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could be the
so
biggest.
we the viewer feel much closer to Jess because we like Luke, you know?
Maybe, but Jess seems a little more fun. He noticed that Rory and Lorelai snowman looks like Bjork. So there's a lot of Bjork referencing in this episode. Who I like Bjork. Do you like Bjork?
Yes, of course.
It's a very specific taste. I would like to recommend Bjork to people, but I could totally see how Bjork can get on people's nerves.
Yeah.
Human relation. It's definitely. It's like
that's perfect. That's all I want to hear. Keep going. Let's just do that for another like 20 minutes. That's perfect. Let me say it again. I like Bjork.
All is full of love.
I feel like we listened to Bjork.
You
like on,
fall in love before above.
It's like road trip. That was another like we listened to Bjork on road trips, but that doesn't sound like good road trip music, does it? That's how I know it. Huh. It's weird.
Whoa, that's interesting. Okay.
That's how I got to know Bjork, was on road trips. Weird.
She's so interesting. Okay.
Are we back at dinner? I noticed I think we skipped the part where Rory inexplicably invites Paris to dinner and a room and an overnight because did we have room? I thought this was like invite only because everybody gets a separate room. So,
right. Maybe. Oh, and she did stay there. Maybe she didn't stay the night.
Maybe.
I don't know.
She's just staying for dinner. Yeah, because we didn't see her check out, did we? Yeah,
no,
right.
we didn't. But oh God, it's such a soft spot for Paris, and she's a jerk too. She's so tries to make Rory feel bad every turn, and then when she softens up around Rory, I just like fall in love with her. You know, Rory's trying to find an edit for the stupid paper, and you see Paris kind of light up. Hey, we get to nerd out with each other. How many people tolerate me and this? And she wants to stay for the dinner. And I just feel bad for Paris. But all these kids are terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible. Kids. Well, her posse isn't there, so she doesn't have to show off to anybody. She's there by herself on a work trip. And and she gets invited to dinner. So when we come back into the actual dinner, I was like, Paris is sitting next to Miss Patty. And they had just met. Was that last episode or 2 episodes ago? Like they had recently had a very awkward meeting where Paris booked the room, booked Miss Patty's studio to do a rehearsal and yelled at her, you know, to be like, I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, wow, they're seated next to each other. So I looked around this table and I was like, Paris would be so bored. She doesn't know anyone. And Rory is not going to entertain her, you know, at this dinner. So Paris just looked unbelievably bored.
I mean, I think that she rarely gets to socialize outside of school. And I think this might be better than being at home with the Iliad or her nanny playing Monopoly again.
Right.
So I think she knows how to be bored. And now she has something to look at.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I could imagine it being very awkward for Paris, especially if she thought she had work to do. But
which is so funny because you could have just put Lane, Dean, even Jess.
Yeah,
Rory.
You could have had the kids' table of like the teenagers can hang out over here.
No, instead Luke and Jess are being monkeys. There's what's this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like what is wrong? Luke, you make food for a living. You
Luke
didn't
is
know
a chef, or Luke is at least a cook. Like you're familiar with soup, you idiot. Like, oh my God. Yeah, what is this green stuff on here? No. What city is Jess from? That he's never seen squash soup. Is he from Chicago?
To be from New York.
Oh, he's from New York?
I think so. I think his mother moved to New York. I think so. Yeah.
Why did I think Chicago? Maybe just Chicago was mentioned in this episode. But yeah, if you're from New York, you know what soup is.
I mean, I could understand a 16-year-old not knowing what squash soup is. Maybe his mother's not making that, but I think that Luke knows exactly what the green is in the soup, what the white is in the soup.
You think he's trying to bond with Jess? You think he's pretending he doesn't know just to be to have a one-on-one?
I actually think the show just enjoys portraying men as just idiots sometimes. Right. I said it.
All right. That's great.
Yeah, I think so. I think Luke is not an ape, but they make him look like one so often.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm just going to hit you.
Yeah. That's right. Luke and Dean are in the same room. Mm-hmm. They had a fight. Mm-hmm. That was great.
Yeah.
So finally we see Richard being the life of the party. Everybody's leaning into his hilarious story. He's telling an anecdote.
So nice. He said, Lorelai, this is just beautiful. Like something out of an architectural digest. You should be very proud.
Yay. Daddy's approval.
Yeah. And then Mom goes, your dress needs pressing.
Thanks, Mom.
But yeah, he is the life of the party.
Yeah. And he's telling these amusing anecdotes. Everyone's leaned in. And then Kirk, of all people, gets him to reveal.
No, it was Dosey. Taylor Dosey.
It was Dosey?
Mm-hmm.
What does Dosey say that makes him say, I'm glad I'm not there anymore?
He's...
right. He goes, insurance guys are normally no fun, which is rude, very rude to say.
Yeah.
Taylor, very rude. But Richard just walks right into the trap. And he's like, yep, glad I'm not doing that anymore. Dope. Like, what? You stupid. You can't keep a secret for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But it is revealed that he says the word retired, or does he?
He says, I'm glad to be rid of them.
Okay.
Meaning insurance people. And then Taylor goes, oh, are you retired? And Emily says something like, no, of course not. And Richard goes, actually, I am.
Okay.
And then no one talks for the whole night.
Ruined dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and dinner, and that was it for dinner. But before that, Lorelai made Kirk break character, which... Oh, that was so
right. By talking about how did she do it?
Lucy, I love Lucy.
I love Lucy. Yes, she gets him to break character by talking about I love Lucy.
And he needed
so
to correct
mean.
her. Yeah, it's so mean. And then also I loved Paris's list of discrepancies from the dinner. So I have the list, and it is, here are the period discrepancies according to Paris. 19th century didn't include recessed lights. Okay. Server was wearing a fossil watch.
Okay.
Water would have not been served with cubed ice.
Correct.
Servers wearing nylon shirts or nylon blend. Nylon was invented by scientist DuPont in the 1920s.
Great.
Paris does not know how to... This is how she enjoys things. What am I talking about? That's how she enjoys it. She critiques it. She loves it.
She loves it. But I mean, why stop there?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, we also didn't drive cars to dinner
in
the 19th century, and you didn't have a pen. I don't know. When did ballpoint pens get invented? Yeah, there's a lot of, nobody had a beeper. Like, why? I don't know. I think Paris, we're illustrating, yes, Paris is a nerd, but she has no chill.
Right. She really doesn't. It really is 100% just her living her life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Grandma has to sit with, my husband didn't tell me things, then revealed it in front of people where I can't say anything. And I feel so left out of my own life. He's been acting like a weirdo. And now that he's happy, I can't even be happy for him because he just did this behind my back. And you don't, as a couple, especially as a couple like that, you don't make big decisions on your own like that.
Right.
I mean,
especially when you've been together so long and only one of you works, you know?
Right. You know, you at least have a conversation.
Yeah.
But that I do like, and I'm going to cut to the part where I do like how he explains it to Emily.
Yes.
He said he found himself quitting. Like all of a sudden he heard himself quitting. And he said resigning. And he loved that it surprised the boss. And he might have used some profanities and all of this stuff. And he said he didn't want to upset her. He didn't want to snap out of this happiness that he has. And he didn't want to get into a fight. Now, all of this is, there's such bad reasons to not share your life with the person you're sharing it with and to bamboozle like in that way. But it was such a nice apology where he admits, like, I know you like things just so. I know I should have told you this. I know.
He
like
sees
when you
her.
name the things that you did wrong and why she would feel uncomfortable with it, I think you're forgiven. You know, the only thing that he really did wrong, because you could wait a couple of days and wrap your mind around what you just did and prepare your own self for even saying it out loud. I understand that. Then you should have respected me over the other guests as Emily and just told them like, yeah, I got to deal with them every day. Then go, yeah, maybe it's time for me to tell Emily, you know?
Right.
And not, so that was actually more the mistake than the other.
I think the reveal is what went wrong.
Yeah.
The way she found out was not good. Was really the problem. Because she knew he wasn't happy there, you know, and she knew he thought he was going to be phased out anyway. So the drama was that she found out publicly, which was really not cool.
Yeah, because you kind of feel like, look, when you're married at that age, in that environment and that agreement, you understand that like sometimes he's going to make decisions at work about decisions at work. And that's just what he had to do. Just like you had to make decisions about the home, and you can't ask each other every moment of everything. But I imagine she felt so outside of that.
Yeah,
inclusion.
She felt blindsided. She felt really blindsided, and she had to keep up appearances and not melt down at the dinner table, and not turn to him and say, "You what?" and like have that be the drama.
Right.
Horribly
and we talked
awkward.
about this. Like you can't fight in front of people.
Right.
So
and she didn't like being put in that spot of like having to explain, you know, and having the drama, her be the drama.
Right. Yeah.
But I like when during his apology, he like illustrates that he sees her, you know, like he understands that she doesn't like surprises and she wants everything just so.
And that she has every right to feel that way. And that he did do something that would affect her. Like, that he doesn't have to say, I'm garbage. You know, he has to say, this was the mistake that I made. And I wish I didn't do it like that. But, here we are. And he tried to make it better. He tried to go over the finances. And at that moment, I think she accepted his apology just by going, let's go to bed. Like, how
do they have health care? He was like, let's see, the finance, blah, blah, blah. And healthcare is covered. I was like, how?
He might have, what is that extension called? Cobra?
Cobra?
Yeah.
He doesn't have Cobra.
He might.
They're not 65. How are they doing that?
No, but like sometimes when they lay you off or when you lose your job, we're just getting this in. Yes, he has
reminded
money.
That he has money. Yeah, but
he's fine. What I wanted to yell at the screen was, "Don't worry, my mother's gonna die soon, and she's got a trust for everyone." Like,
I totally forgot about Trixie. Was
they're
that her
not
name?
First generation rich. They're like rich down the line.
Oh yeah, they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then why even mention it? It wasn't even on his radar. What health insurance is.
Well,
like they're just going to cover it.
Because I think he's a person who assesses. He's in insurance. He assesses what's next. What's the liability? What's the danger? Oh, so
that's funny. But we skipped over the Lorelai and Rory in their hotel room the inn room, and Rory finds out that.
Well, Rory actually says. She goes, you haven't heard from Dad because he usually calls around this time. So now we now know that Chris does call around Christmas, and it is one of the few, if not only, calls that the child gets from this father.
Right, right.
And Lorelai, I wanted to throw you out the window, Lorelai.
Mm-hmm.
You not only kept that her father actually did call when she's thinking she's being rejected again and forgotten about. You didn't tell her, and you presented the invite in such a baby jerk manner that you didn't give this child a chance to even want to go to her father for Christmas, because you made it so about your heartbreak about it at every freaking turn.
Yep. You didn't give her a chance to say, it would be nice to go spend a couple of days with Dad, because you made it clear that you would take that so personally that it would be a deal breaker, you know? She definitely made it about her.
That's so rude. She even said there may have been a call. He's pretending to be considerate.
Yeah.
I have dibs on this time. You won't be hanging out with me because you'll be with your stepmother. Every single sentence that Lorelai said was, please don't pick her, pick me. Now, as Rory, the only time she would ever get to spend with her father during Christmas, which is what the family wants, right? When you do things like this, like you're supposed to want that.
Yes, that is my understanding of Christmas as well.
You took that away from her. Now she has to decide, either I make you upset or
I get to see my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Not cool, Lorelai. That's like in the divorced parents handbook. Is like, don't put your kids in that position.
There was not an ounce of cool. And by the way, if that's your best friend or your daughter, you don't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, even if you weren't her mother, I'd be like, what kind of friend are you right now?
Right.
You don't get 3, 5, 7 days with your kid? She might have an experience outside of you?
No, you can't have it. You can't have it. She's codependent.
I hate it.
Their enmeshment is too strong.
It is beyond. It is unhealthy. And what's funny is I don't remember feeling this way the first couple of times I saw this show. I remember being like, part of the reason why I didn't have children is I was afraid to feel like this, because that's what I thought love was supposed to be. This like uncomfortable, I'm worried when you're not around. I hate when you're not around. I don't have any control. Just all of this stuff just didn't sound like fun, but it turns out I think we were sold some real crap there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's how I feel about that.
Yep. No, she shouldn't have been saying it.
Yeah.
Emily comes to the room. We have a brief moment where they're taking off their makeup or putting on cream or something, and they're mirroring each other's actions.
I enjoy that part.
And gestures. I like that part.
Mm-hmm.
That was very cute.
Yeah. And I also think Emily comes into Lorelai and Rory's room because she's having a fight with Richard. But part of me feels like she's like, and now I'm in the girls' room.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more fun in the girls' room.
Yeah. And Kelly Bishop's book is called The Third Gilmore. So it's like always it's very appropriate. What a good title for her book. So smart. And great book. You all should read it. All right. Now, there was the apology and everyone's leaving the inn.
Yes. I wrote that the Emily and Richard talk ends very sweetly, and I liked it. And it was like, oh, and I thought we'd see more of that. But then it's the next morning. The slumber party is over and people are leaving and saying goodbye and thank you. And Dean is leaving with his scrappy little sister. And
I like that she's like, don't kiss.
Don't kiss.
Get
and then
icky.
and then he covers her eyes and they kiss anyway. And then he catches Rory and Jess looking at each other meaningfully. And we clock that Dean notices that Rory and Jess looked at each other. Trouble's a brewing. What's going to happen? Oh my God.
Now, really, technically nothing happened, but we all saw it. Isn't that interesting? We saw what Dean saw. Like,
well, Rory they made us see it. I mean, the camera angles are not subtle.
But it's not like they were flirty eyes with each other. They weren't smiling at each other. They really just looked at each other. And Rory almost looked embarrassed just looking at Jess. So again, she wasn't flirting. She wasn't, they weren't sending any signals other than, I'm looking in your eyes for 2 seconds longer than something. And I don't know what it is, but Dean saw it and you saw it before Dean saw it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jess is like very slightly, he's very slightly smirking. He has like a knowing smirk of like, heh, you know? But yes, the direction is set up so that we're made to see it. And then Dean catches it, and then we're made to see him going, what's going on with the two of them? He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's kind of the same as Tristan. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then credits roll. Damn.
And what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was pretty good. I'm glad we didn't see, remember the last time it snowed in Stars Hollow and Lorelai talked about loving snow for like 20 minutes? I'm glad we skipped that.
Okay, you know how we skipped it though? She started saying, look how beautiful everything is with the snow and everything. And Luke goes, who cares? And she turns that off. And I remember we spoke about in the last episode, like, hey, isn't Lorelai supposed to notice that Luke likes her? What kind of invitation she's setting up? They're in a horse-drawn carriage. She's talking about the beauty that is outside. She's getting into a soft space with the snow and the twinkling lights and everything looks so nice. And he goes, I guess. Oh, we're not playing this game. Okay.
Right. Okay. I made a romantic moment. I manufactured a romantic moment for you and you didn't take it. You didn't grab it. You got to be a cranky pot. Okay.
So it's like I said, what is he asking her to say yes to? Nothing. He shuts down everything.
Yeah, that's true. And based on this horse-drawn carriage, I wouldn't think a guy like me. But sharing a blanket with a male friend is a green light, I think.
On a horse-drawn carriage when it's cold out and it's
Yes. On a horse-drawn carriage, sharing a blanket on a horse-drawn carriage with a friend is a green light. Just saying.
Oh, it's a green light for them to be mushy.
Their signals are there. I'm saying they like each other. You don't do that with a friend.
I guess.
If I got in a horse-drawn carriage with your boyfriend and we shared a blanket in a horse-drawn carriage, you wouldn't think that was a little weird?
First of all, it was on your laps. If it was like up on top, that made me feel
That's
weird.
The difference?
And no, I'm just trying to paint a picture because when I picture you and my boyfriend sitting like that on I have to now. You did this. I just go, yeah, those are people that I really care about. And
okay. But then we pull the blanket up and you're like, hey guys, relax.
I just think you're cold. Only because you have a boyfriend. He has a girlfriend. You're both very trustworthy people. There's no vibe. I mean, there's just, I would have to go, oh, they're cold. It's a laugh.
All right. Then you see two strangers who you don't know, but you happen to know they're both straight. And they're sitting in a horse-drawn carriage and they're sharing a blanket. You wouldn't think they might be romantically involved?
It's a romantic setup for sure. Yes.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
For romance. Yes.
Whether or not
I was only in a horse-drawn carriage one time in Central Park, and it was I was like 12 years old with my best friend and her mom. We might have had the thing on us.
How high up was the blanket pulled? I've never done a horse-drawn carriage. To me, it's supposed to. It's like going to the top of the Eiffel Tower at sunset with your best male friend. You know what I mean? And being like, wow, Paris at sunset in the Eiffel Tower.
I guess, okay, so here's...
You're like setting up a romantic thing.
It could be that my sense of romance in that has been skewed ever since I did go on a horse-drawn carriage because I thought the whole thing was so gross.
Yes, I also think it's
wondering
gross.
how this ever became romantic to begin with. It
smells like horse duty.
You're watching the horse actually poop while he's going. It's going to happen. It did happen. The blanket that you're supposed to put on you, we couldn't put on. It smelled like animal, but like that hasn't been washed in a long time.
Yeah. No,
so
it's gross.
The whole thing was so not conducive to romance that I guess I don't associate it with romance. Like you can't
that's a
even
good point.
get
Okay,
romantic.
so sharing a blanket when you're watching a movie.
That's weird.
Oh,
don't do that.
That's all I'm saying.
Get warmer a different way. Turn up the heat. Do something.
Like, we had to conserve heat, so we both got naked and under this blanket. This is my best male friend. I don't know. It's a little weird. Just saying. It's green lights there.
Yeah, I think that was just a personal, like...
You just hate horseback. Okay. Or horse carriage sled.
I tried horseback too. No, thank you.
No. I don't like horseback.
All of these things sound so fun and nice.
I don't like the...
Yuck.
I don't like abusing horses.
That's a whole nother...
Oh, well, it's a whole other thing. That's why I'm not getting into it. That's why I've never done a horse-drawn carriage in the Central Park.
Yeah,
right.
when you see where they put those horses.
It's not good. Yeah, and how they treat them in the winter, it's not good. All right, trivia.
Okay.
You had more. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I do have trivia. Yeah.
You teased it at the beginning.
Yes. So this is season 2, episode 10 of Gilmore Girls. It's called the Bracebridge Dinner, which always just breaks my whole face to say. I don't know why. Bracebridge Dinner. Try saying it fast. December 11th. Ooh, I wrote 2026, but it is not. It's 2001.
That hasn't even happened yet.
Mm-hmm. And so these are not questions. This is just info because it's stuff that I found interesting. That,
tell me.
I don't know how to ask you this question. Okay. The sous chef in this episode, people that we don't really pay attention to.
Yes. He didn't get a line, but.
Did he not? Okay. Anyway, Vic Chao is his name and his IMDb is bananas. I just want to give you some highlights. That's all. You could not guess this. I'm going to put my glasses on for this part because I don't want to mess it up. It is extensive. Okay. Vic graduated from Stanford University with a degree in mechanical engineering.
Ooh.
He developed medical devices in Chicago area before he moved to LA and got tons of acting work. Like the list just goes on and on. He was in shows like 24, Grey's Anatomy, and the movie Heathers, Golden Child, Ready Player One. He did voices for a few characters in Mortal Kombat. I mean, this is everything. He also tumbled, clowned, and dunked as a mascot for the Chicago Bulls.
Whoa.
He competed on American Gladiators. Oh my God, that show is amazing.
That show was
amazing. Did well on The Wall and Assault, got crushed in Powerball.
What does he not do? This is
all from IMDb. As an experiment, once he existed only on items from 99-cent stores for a week.
Wow.
That's a weird one. Does martial arts, is a fountain of useful trivia, and has an uncanny memories for old commercial jingles. Whatever. We all do. That's not good. Was a mini trampoline slam dunker and a crowd leader for the LA Clippers.
Whoa.
And was a cheerleader for Stanford University and Universal Cheerleaders Association.
That's insane. That is an insane resume.
Now, if you look at this man, and he's fully clothed, but you could see how in shape he is by just his face. I mean, he's got to be at least our age, and he looks like he can jump around. You know what I mean?
It looks like he could be a cheerleader,
right?
And a tumbler, and a mini trampoline basketball player. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, he's also an astronaut.
Right.
Nothing this guy can't do. See, that's what Stanford sets you up for, kids.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, okay, the next one's about Clara, Dean's sister, also has a long list on her IMDb. The name is Scout Taylor Compton. She was in 13 Going on 30, in Charmed. She was in the movie Sleepover, in American Crime. Halloween and Halloween 2 is what she's known for a lot. She also played Lita Ford in the movie The Runaways, which, by the way, The Runaways, great movie. Very upsetting, very disturbing, but really good.
I've never seen it. Should I see it?
Oh, The Runaways? Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm writing it down.
Yeah, it's disturbing, because it's basically about kids on tour, you know? They were only like 16 or something. Anyway, then all of a sudden, when she was 16, she went missing for 2 weeks.
Where was she?
So here's what I got from today.com. This was just like news reporting on it. It's a quote. A teen actress who apparently ran away from home spent nearly 2 weeks sleeping at a park and at the residence of a family that took her in, police said. Scott Taylor Compton, who recently starred in the comedy Sleepover, was reunited with her family Thursday after the Apple Valley Police Department found her. A high school coach told police one of his students was bragging that a movie star was sleeping at his home.
Whoa.
So it turns out she just ran away from home.
That must have been terrible, though. Yeah. Like a terrible situation that made her do that. She lived with strangers? Or
That's
she lived with
sounds like, see, I can't tell if because she's famous, everybody's trying to skew their words so that it's a more harsh situation. I think it did sound like she slept on a bench a couple of days. It might be that the people were an acquaintance because they were in some town together or they knew her, but I don't really know.
That's wild.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the full story is. I bet we'll never know.
Yeah. Also, I don't think you can get away with like a runaway kid crashing on your couch anymore because they can get you for kidnapping. Where before it was like, well, I just took your kid in.
Right.
That happened a lot, I think. You know?
Right. You shouldn't let the runaway kid sleep on your couch because you get in trouble. Right. Not anymore. Yeah.
Well, it used to be you were helping that kid and you were giving the mom a break or the father a break.
Right.
But now, yeah.
That's what Mia did at the inn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
She housed a runaway. Oops. Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
Yeah. So here's like just a couple other things just from this episode. Paris spoke Portuguese in this episode. Liza Weil, who plays Paris, does not speak Portuguese, so she
learned the 3 lines. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Did pretty well. And then the final thing is there's an actual Bracebridge dinner that you can buy tickets to. So when looking at this, I thought annotated GilmoreGirls.com said it pretty well. I'm just going to read what they wrote. Tickets to the Bracebridge dinner costs around $400.
Oh, snap. And you should just go to Medieval Times. It's a very
big, elaborate show and dinner. And they're generally difficult to obtain, sometimes being awarded in a lottery system. In 1992, there were 60,000 applicants for the 1,650 seats available.
Jeez.
This could be the reason why the Trelling Paper Company from Chicago have decided to hold their Bracebridge dinner at the Independence Inn. So you can't get tickets for it. So they created their own at this inn.
That's wild. Again,
so smart.
Just go to see Medieval Times.
Yeah. It's so goofy, Medieval Times.
I've never been.
You gotta do it.
I gotta do it. I want to do it so bad. I've always wanted to go. I've never gone.
It's a silly kids show, but
I've heard that and I still want to do it.
You should. Man. Yeah. Eat the
We can't figure out how to get there and back. It's in Jersey.
I know. That was the closest one.
Rent a car to go to Medieval Times. That seems silly.
Yeah. And it's like a little pricey, even though you get dinner and stuff.
No, it's an expensive night. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like an event. But it is basically halfway between your place and my place. So we should meet at Medieval Times.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Well, that's my trivia.
All right, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
Because this just got stupid.
Oh.
I think eventually, I don't remember what I said was going to happen last time. I have no recollection. I know you're tracking it. So I'm going to contradict myself possibly. I have no idea. So obviously Rory and Jess are going to hook up. I think they smooch the day before his mother says you have to come back to New York or come back home, wherever that is. If it's New York, probably is. Then she's going to say, it didn't mean anything. And Dean's going to go. So then she's going to lose 2 boys because Dean's going to break up with her because she smooched Jess. And then she won't have Jess or Dean. And she'll be like, what the hell? She's so upset. And then Luke has to feel some kind of way about Rory smooching Jess. And Luke has to say to Lorelai, why didn't you keep your daughter away from my nephew? And then she's going to go, why is that my responsibility? And they fight over that. I think I might have predicted that before, actually. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Jess and Rory hooking up is going to come between Luke and Lorelai's friendship. I'm glad it doesn't seem like we're going to have a Christmas episode. We're going to skip it, I think. And then the next episode is going to be in the new year after break. Just the way this goes. I think now that Richard is happy again, he and Emily are going to travel. They're going to go peace out somewhere now that he's like feeling more upbeat. I wonder if they're going to pretend they have no money now. Now that Richard's unemployed, quote unquote. And like retiring and quitting are two different things for employment. And maybe I'm splitting hairs, but my understanding was that retirement, like he said he was giving up some of his pension, but like, does he have to
he's got to be retirement age, if not a couple years.
So are we going to have the goofy, like Richard's looking for a new job episode? I don't think so. I think he's like not going to be looking for a money job. He's going to be looking for like a past my time job. But I don't know. Maybe we have the goofy Richard gets a job episode where he's like, he starts working at Luke's or some ridiculous crap. I don't know. I think it's so funny that everyone ends up working at Luke's. That's why I think Rory's going to end up working at Luke's too. Ugh. We're not talking about the new inn that they're going to buy or open. We dropped that. It's annoying to me. Yeah, that's it.
Well, they can't buy the inn because she's not selling. Fran's not selling it.
Well, they got a plot to kill Fran. They gave up a little easily on that, don't you think?
What are they supposed to do?
Kill Fran.
Sick the bees on her.
Yeah, or the dogs with bees in their mouths, and when they bark, they shoot bees. That's from The Simpsons.
Those are some fantastic predictions, I will tell you.
Thank you.
If anyone else is watching it for the first time, I want to hear your predictions if you agree with Carrie. If anyone has already watched it, a T and a he and a T he. And we know why. So enjoy that. And no matter where you are, we would love it if you hit the subscribe button. It helps us out and we appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.